Hi everyone! Today I'm back with the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary for a field video. We will follow their work with the Mutton Birds and learn more about sea turtles rescues.
So this is a mutton bird. So what we'll do, so these fluffy feathers are called down feathers, so that means that they're a fledgling, so it has only just left the nest. So these feathers aren't waterproof, unlike the feathers on top. So these guys have been confused by the lights on the jetty, so that means that they've come back to shore and to land. Once these guys have landed, they can't fly. So that's why they have to jump off mutton bird. So they fully just run and jump and use the wind. I'll show you the process that we do.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is that I'm going to shimmy past you guys.
Okay.
I am going to shimmy past.
Alright.
Where are your scales? Down there.
Yeah.
For me. So we'll weigh them. So we've got a box to put them in just so they're a bit more comfortable. So we'll put them in. Here's a hefty one. So 396. So what that means is then we'll give them a bit of a manicure and we actually paint their nails. So I'll get you to assist me if you would like. So he gets a green nail. That's like my drool.
So did you make the, yes?
So then we'll get a little bit of nail polish and do a little bit of like that. That just lets us know that if he were to come back a bit later on, he's been with us and he's over 300 grams.
Okay.
So we do have a little bit of a release criteria to make sure that they've got the most success. The next thing that we do is that this is a writing test. So what we will do is that we'll flip them on their back and see if they can write themselves. So that just helps us see if there's no brain injuries, no nothing with the wings. So they don't love this, but it is a good test for us to see. So we'll just softly place it on their back. So that helps us see that he's all good.
Yeah.
He can wipe himself. He's pretty does have a lot of agility, which means that he's going to be good to go for release.
Okay.
So that's our little process with birds. As you can see, it does get a little bit hectic, especially at this time of the season. So that means that he's going. We can get upwards of 22 birds. We had 22 birds last night.
Wow.
Then we will put them in these pet packs.
The first one, he doesn't have any belly.
And it's 2 to a box. It's another way of us making sure that we're not overusing boxes that we don't need to.
Yeah.
And then these boxes will be carried up to Mutton Bird by our volunteers and also by members of the public that want to get involved.
Okay.
So this is also used for all other animals as well. Yeah, so this is the seabird. Yeah, so this guy, we've nicknamed him Marble.
Oh, he's so pretty.
Yeah, so I think he's a juvenile because when they get older they'll have a red tail. Yeah, so that's our process with mutton birds. With this trailer we also do have the ability to do all sorts of birds, as you can see by all the crates.
Yeah.
We do also have a freezer that we can put any birds that unfortunately don't make it, which then can be used for data. With mutton birds, we work with the Indigenous community in Gumbaynggirr, so we will go up and bury all the birds that have passed away back on Mutton Bird Island. And that is really important because it's a very important meeting place for the Gumbaynggirr people. So we try and be really respectful, and that's a process that we do in National Park. So all the birds that unfortunately pass away will go back up there when we can raise them, which is a good little thing. And we've got all these guys are volunteers, so they take out their own time to come and help us. And then we've worked really hard to kind of streamline this process. So at the moment, we're naming all of the mutton birds after Pokemon, which I don't know half the Pokemon's names. So some of them are just out of my reach that I don't know. But yeah, so this is our little mutton bird process. And we will walk up mutton bird at 5:30. So we want it to be as dark as possible because it gives them the best chance to not be affected by the light and by the sunlight.
Which is good.
Yes. Yes. So all these boxes are for the members of the public to fill out. So we encourage them to, if they find a bird, put it in one of these boxes and fill it out where they can. So it has all where they could be located, and this is us down here. So we'll use all this data at the end of the season to put into a big database that we can use. Okay. So this one was found at the yacht club, and he has fully feathered. So that means that he's probably an adult or just one that has developed a bit quicker.
Oh, okay.
I'll fill in.
We go out over the grass and do it over there.
So pretty. He's bigger than I thought. Oh, so cute.
So it's kind of like what you do. So I'm just holding my hand there to stop him from biting. Like what you can do is you put your fingers between here and here, and that's how you can open the beak. If they're not going to open it for you, and then you go for this force feed. And they'll swallow it down usually themselves. You don't want to force it. Just want them to basically give it a go themselves. If they're really young, you have to push a little bit, and then they'll sort of do it. But you want them to kind of do it, and then give him a little bit of a rest so he gets up nice and well. So that's really good. Yeah. So what will happen with these guys is their beak bill will turn red, and then they'll get this beautiful red tail afterwards as well. Now, hydration wise, so you have it mixed with Spark, which is like Gatorade for birds. You can also just do it with just general water. So this is just liquid water. Same sort of thing. This one too. So you just want to be where you don't get it in his lungs. So you always want to go back at the throat here, just a little bit, because his airway will be at the front, just there. Okay. So like up the front. So okay, you see it? Yeah. So that's where you don't want to go. So that's why you go at the back. Okay. And they'll usually swallow it themselves. So he's like, excuse me. So you just go little bits at a time, and you'll see they'll do a little if they're really thirsty. So normally you just put it in like that. Yeah, see? So that's that behaviour there. And then you push a little bit out. So he's not too dehydrated, so he's probably we're just doing this to help that fish go down, make sure he's alright. Give him another fishy. So you don't necessarily have to do feed water fish, I'm just showing you two different methods. Open up
It's kind of like with a dog when you gotta put
put the thing down.
Yeah.
Yep, so there you go, buddy. So you want them to kind of do most of the work if they can, just like that. Works rather than force feeding. It's not like when you're crop feeding a bird, you obviously have to get it into the crop, but marine birds don't have a crop. So you want to be able to just get it down because they eat their fish whole. And that's quite natural, and then their body will digest it. So we'll only give him 2 little now, and then we'll maybe give him 4 tomorrow. And then we'll see how he's going. He looks in really good body condition. And his eyes are really bright. He's chirping. That's really good. He's just a juvenile, so what would have happened with all this wind coming in is he's just got pushed ashore, and these guys can't fly from the ground. So you have to take them back up the island. So there's no obvious injuries. You can see where they get that beautiful plumage from. He's got a really good body condition at the front there. They're really happy. Really happy. And that's pretty much, we'll just leave him to sleep and rest tonight, and then we'll feed him again tomorrow, and if he's still looking good, we'll take him up the island and release him. Yay.
So now we're going to Mutton Bird Island, and we will release Mutton Bird in the wild. So exciting!
So that the towel just helps them kind of stop seeing what we're doing and just keeps them really calm. So like he's chilled out now, and it just makes the process a little bit easier. So we do avoid touching them when we can, but when we do bring them out, we will put that towel over his head just to calm him down. It seems pretty okay at the moment. You can jump in and join me if you would like. and help me scrub a turtle?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you can just grab one of these, whatever one kind of floats your boat. And all you do is just a nice little scrub. He might start moving because they can actually feel us touching. And we do nice little scrubs there. I'll hold him. You can keep going. So we do this because a lot of the time when they come in, they'll be covered in barnacles and lots of algae. So we do give them a nice good scrub when they get a bit more energy and they come in and makes them nice and pretty. So we saw that Donnie's shell was going to be really gorgeous and we were right. All this pattern. So this is all keratin. So this is all the same stuff as our fingernails and our hair. So this does grow back so it will shed and grow back. So you can actually see with Ray that he has a few missing spots because that's actually growing back in. So when they get bigger, they do shed their scoots. So these are called scoots just here. So what we can actually do is that we can colour these in with wax, and it helps us identify who's who, because a lot of the turtles come in and look the same. Yeah. So we do need help identifying some of them. These guys, you can also see, so when they're hatchlings, you can kind of tell with their head identifying or the number of scoots. So all green sea turtles will have 5 down here and then 4 here. So that's how you can tell. All different turtles will have different number of scoots. When we go up and see the hawkie, you will be able to see their scoots actually overlap. So that's another identifying feature with them, and they've got a bill. So they've got a bit more of like a beak, like a bird. Yeah. When they come in, we will also do a full carapace measurement. So we do that to kind of periodically to try to see how they're going, how they're growing. And when they first come in, so we get their initial and then before they leave as well. So how we do a carapace measurement is from here to just where the kind of it indents just here. So he's about 43.5 in carapace length. So that's actually a pretty decent length. He's a juvenile, so it's a pretty good size for a juvenile. And then we can also, I won't do it, but we can flip him over and measure his tail. So that's how, I will show you the tail, but that's how we tell sex of the turtle. So with, at this age you can't tell because they can't see it, but you can tell when they're a bit older. These guys also have little claws just here that can help with shredding, tearing different food sources, and can help move in the water as well. These guys also have the really beautiful eyes, and they actually have a salt gland kind of right near their eyes that help get rid of the salt while they're having water. So they don't drink water just like us, but they eat it from their food source and their fish, and so that helps get rid of extra salt in their body. So a lot of mammals will have, a lot of sea species and marine species will have that feature. Penguins have it in their eyes, and that helps just get rid of extra salt water. So the mutton birds that we saw yesterday, they actually don't have that ability because they have the ability to ingest that salt water, so they don't need. So that's the underside of a turtle. Wow. Where his belly is, that's actually a good indication of us because it shows us that he is a bit underweight, so it generally shouldn't be concave, it should be flat. But that does show us that he's pretty underweight, but he has just come in. Yeah. You can also see his tail down there towards my fingers. Probably a little bit close in at the moment. So yeah, all this is all pretty common. Like they do have that beautiful marbling on their shells. I personally prefer hawksbills. They're gorgeous turtles. And I'll go show you Jeff and Broomy that are up in S1.
Wow. I love turtles so much.
They're pretty cute. I love them. I think their faces are adorable.
Yeah. I'm scared to hurt him.
No, that's okay. You can go in pretty firmly, and I find it easier to kind of just like that and it'll come off a bit. Oh. So that was him just taking a breath. But with turtles, they do also have the ability to breathe out their butts, and that is why they can. They're so good underwater because they can stay down there for a bit longer by breathing in oxygen through their butts. So I think that's a pretty fun fact for turtles. Yeah. But they do also have to come up and take that breath like we do. So they have to come up and inhale oxygen from the air. But they do have that ability to stay under a little bit longer. So that's the same with freshwater turtles. They also have that ability. So most all turtles will have that. So the scrubbing can just kind of help them get rid of that excess algae on them, and it also makes them nice and pretty. There we go. Nice and pretty. So yeah, just like striker, so actually their all internal organs kind of just sit in here in one big body cavity, so they don't have ribs or anything like us to kind of keep all the organs in place. It literally is their shell, their plastrum, or the underneath of their shell, and that's where all the organs will sit. They do have kind of ribs, somewhat like ribs just here, so it run underneath. I'll grab a other shell and we can have a look, but they do have kind of ribs that run just under here, and then that's where all their spine is. And you can also see when I grab the other shell that their like veins, nerves and all that are in there. So it's really sensitive, so sometimes when we get turtle in, we'll scrub them, they'll actually start moving and kind of moving their butts because they really like it. When we fill up their habitats with water, that sometimes Striker likes to go under the really heavy water stream and kind of just move his shell underneath it because it's a good massage for them. But yeah, we'll put him back.
Yeah.
So how we hold turtles is underneath here and underneath here because it gives us a firm grip and it doesn't actually hurt them. And then we will always hold their head up. Might get a bit wet. And so we try and be really careful because sometimes turtles can get really excited and kind of swim and hit their heads. Yeah. So we try and be nice and gentle. With little Turner, I was holding him until he calmed down a little bit, just so he can go in nice and smoothly. So we do the same with releases. We'll hold them in, put their heads first and kind of give them a nice soft push to get them a little bit motivated to go out and start swimming, but also to kind of prevent any injuries if they hit, so they don't hit the sand. Actually a hawksbill carapace, so you can actually tell the difference that their scutes are overlapping just here. They have the same number, but they overlap, and then their edges are a lot more serrated here. So green sea turtles kind of are more curved, and the hawksbills have more of a point. And I'll flip it over. Yeah. So that's their spine. That's what's connected, and that's kind of like their ribs, sort of underneath. And you can see these white lines here are nerves and veins all around here. Yeah. So this is why it's really important, like really dangerous when they get boat strike, because a lot of the time it's coming straight through here, or like with striker that's come straight through here, and that can cause paralysis instantaneously. Yeah. With like with striker, so his back two flippers, because it's come roughly through here. Yeah. They unfortunately don't work. So it's really important, and especially because this is all filled with like air. So when it has a boat strike through here, the water can seep in and go into their lungs so easily. So the boat strikes can be really damaging. A lot of the time, unfortunately, turtles don't really make it. Yeah. Striker's doing really well. We have had a big adult female green sea turtle that came in. She had 3 strikes basically all through here, because the boat has just run straight over her. So unfortunately that hole in her carapace let water in, and unfortunately it went into her lungs. So she did pass away that night. But it just shows the damage that the boat strikes can do. I'll show you Jeff and Broomy, because they're my two favorites. And they're a lot smaller. So this is probably nearly an adult. You can tell from the size. Sea turtles can get up to 100 kilos in weight and over a meter long. They can get very big. Yeah. A lot of people don't see that because they only come back to land for their nesting season, so they come back 2 to 3 times a year. Yeah. It will always be the same beach that they were born at, so they use the magnetic fields in the sand. So when they hatch, they'll use that magnetic field to find the water. Once they're out there, they will be out there for over 30 years until they come back for the first time, because that's when they're adults. So they're not adults until they're 30. Which is a lot different than us. Yeah. So that's when they'll come back in to the same beach. They'll have their eggs and then leave straight away. So they're not on land very often. And that's only the females. Males rarely come back at all. Yeah. So what we see is, unfortunately, if we do see adults on sand and it's not nesting season, we know something's wrong, because they shouldn't be on the sand or like close to beaches. And so this one was probably just under an adult or nearly an adult, and was actually surrendered to us by an organisation because someone didn't have a license to have it. So we've now got the license, so we use this for education. So we take it on our releases and things like that, different educational things to kind of show people this is what a turtle can look like, especially underneath, because I don't think a lot of people can see what's on the inside of a turtle. Awesome. We'll go have a look at S1 now. So that's Jeff and Broomy. So Broomy was found out at Broom's Head and was brought in by the member of public. So he was actually doing pretty well even when he was brought in, but we have gone through with his process, just making sure that he's all right 100% before he'll be released again. We do have some greens in here.
There's another one.
There's another one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Because she's actually blind.
Oh.
Yeah, so she does stay here with us now. We have worked really hard with her to help with her rehab, and she's now actually target trained. So we have been able to target train her. So she has her own feeding station, which is just at the end of that, and we can feed her with her set of tongs that's especially for her. Oh, there we go. There's one just there. It's kind of coming up for a breath. Oh, there we go. So this is our pre-release habitat. So all the turtles that you see in here, bar Rudolph, will be released. And now this habitat is really special because it actually is a current. So you can kind of see with the bits of old lettuce on top that it's slowly moving around. That current helps them build up the bit of muscle that they might have lost being in the habitats down here. And also can kind of help us do observations to see if they're able to compete well with the other turtles, if they can dive or swim really well. In Nikki's case, what we found that she was actually a really good swimmer. So she would zoom all around the habitat when we see her. So that was a good indication to us that yes, she's good to go. Because that what we would be most worried about is just her swimming ability, and she was able to compete really well with the other turtles, which is what we wanted to see. Because in the wild, unfortunately, that competition is going to be there, and we do want to encourage that competition because it's really important to survival, to getting food, moving around the oceans and different habitats and things like that. So out on the solitary island, you can see all the green sea turtles out there, and that's really important for that competition because it is a smaller reef, but they can find that food source and be able to kind of put the effort in to get it. We won't hand feed any of our rescue turtles. We don't want them to get used to us as humans. So what we'll do is we'll throw food in. Rudolph gets fed with tongs, but we won't feed any of our other turtles. So she does have access to the food that we provide every day, but we will feed her separately just so we're making sure that she's getting the right amount of nutrition. But with the other turtles, we will just throw it in and kind of watch for that competition and making sure they're eating. So we do spend a little bit of time after throwing in food to make sure they're all eating. We'll watch like 2 or 3 bites each, and then we're like, okay, cool. These guys also get lettuce. So in the wild at this age, they do eat more of a seagrass than seafood. So what we do is that in the hospital down there, they only eat seafood. So we'll provide really fatty fish like pilchards and whiting and yellowtail, also prawns and squid for the hawkies. Once they move to this habitat, we will then provide them more lettuce than seafood because we want to encourage them to eat that lettuce and to encourage them to eat the seagrass once they go back out in the wild. They still do get their fish, but we do like to try and encourage the lettuce more than the seafood. So we do provide the lettuce first, then we'll do the seafood a bit later on. So we do that 2 times a day, and we can feed them as much lettuce as they would want to eat. So there's no real limit. If they're really hungry, we can feed them a bit more lettuce. You can see that there's a bit of algae growth on the hawkies there, but it is natural. But when they come in, we do kind of just like to get rid of it, just to make them nice and pretty. And so you can actually see when he lifts his head that he's got that more of a beak. So that's where they get the hawk's bill from. So they're still both sea turtles. We see these guys pretty often around here, same with greens. But we also see loggerheads out here as well. Cats do have the ability to be closed and have it open here. So we can close this and it can still have a lot of airflow. But all of our habitats will either have a bit of wood stuck, so the V1 and V2 have the 2 wood pieces, and it just means that the air can go through. He's pretty cute. So little Turner actually has an eye injury. So if you look down on his head, you can see that his right eye is a lot bigger than his left. He actually doesn't have a left eye.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And so we think that he came in with that injury, so we don't really know how that happened in the wild. But it doesn't seem to affect him too much. He's pretty good with finding food. We can encourage him but he does have a pretty good sense of direction and things like that to find food. So we do just chuck it in. I kind of like to spread it around so he kind of moves a bit for it, get his exercise up before eating it. Same with Striker. He's a really good eater. He'll eat anything. So we actually had to be pretty strict with what we're feeding him. So he only gets what's allotted. I think it's 250 grams worth of fish. And we also can feed him lettuce as well. So we'll do a bit of both. So he only gets that food, but we'll chuck it around to kind of encourage him to move to that food a bit more instead of just hand feeding him. If we do have to hand feed a turtle, we use this. Okay. So just a bit of stick, bit of plastic, but we'll stick it in and then kind of just hold it and wiggle it in front of them, and that can help us hand feed them, but also not create that association between us and food. Because once we release them, if they have that association, they're going to come find us. And we don't want them to. We want them to stay right out from us as humans. That's why you see a lot of them down at the jetty, because they've created, these boats are going to drop fish. I'm going to go follow these boats, so I'm going to hang out here. So that's why we do find a lot of turtles out there, unfortunately, but that is where they're going to get the boat strike more often, because there are boats everywhere out there. These are our animal health summary. So we can have up to 3 turtles in these habitats. We do tend to only do 1 or 2 if we can prevent it, but it has everything on it. So ID code, name, where they were found, admission cause, and defecated or eaten. So we won't feed any turtle until they have defecated, and that's because if they haven't defecated, that could mean there's a blockage somewhere in their intestinal system. No, I love turtles. I love the work that we do, and I do love to educate people, because we rely on the public. That's what we run on, and without the public we wouldn't be able to do this, because they help us with releases and rescues. They're the ones that contact us most of the time to go out and find a turtle. So without the members of public knowing what we do and knowing where to contact if they do find an animal, especially marine species, there just wouldn't be a place for these guys to go. We're the only facility between Taronga Zoo and Seabird up in the Sunshine Coast. So we're only facility within 6 hours for a lot of these species. So without us, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. Unfortunately. So we've got a kind of a rescue area of 2 hours either side of Coffs, but we can go further if needed. So we do work with Taronga, Seabird Rescue, even SeaWorld. If someone's contacted them, they can contact us if we're closer, and we'll do the same with them. So it is a big team effort from everyone.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I loved it.
Today, at the heart of the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary, we had a truly moving experience. Watching these mutton birds take flight again after being rescued and cared for reminds us how powerful even the smallest actions can be. We also learned about the vital efforts to save injured sea turtles. With dedication, patience, and expert care, many of them are given a second chance to go back to the ocean. I would like to say a huge thank you to the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary and to Macy for sharing their time and their work. And also a big thanks to them for joining us on this journey. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. As someone deeply passionate about the ocean, being part of the End-Zone Wildlife Rescue was an incredible and unforgettable experience. So thank you for watching this video, and I see you soon with a new episode of Oceanic. Bye!